On this week's cover story, pickleball's growth in part comes from the ability of entire families able to play the game from ages 8 to 80. Robert and Jody Elliott's entire family life is now consumed by this emerging sport as they operate one of the leading paddle companies, Engage Pickleball. Well, you just signed Pickleball. You're working with a lot of the top pros. We're seeing them playing out here. It's great to see them in action. And how exciting is that now? See your own company evolve, and now you're working with some of the top pros also.
It's exciting. Yeah, Deckelbar's out here. Jessie Irvine's here. Leah Jensen's out here. She's a new up-and-coming that plays for Engage. So it's always fun to be a part of it with them and part of their journey, too.
And also the main business with pickleball is all these amateurs playing these tournaments, like 80% amateurs, and I see a lot of Engage paddles out here. Talk about what your feedback is from the grassroots players.
Well, that's the core thing, and Engage will always support the grassroots. I mean, that's who got us to where we are right now. So the pro players are great, don't get me wrong, but the grassroots players, I mean, that's who I like to connect to more. Get the feedback, see what they think of pickleball so we can grow together as a family.
I first met the Elliots, rising young children competing at the World Pickleball Open in 2019. Josh and Rachel Elliott at PGA Verano. Tell us a little bit about how you started playing pickleball.
We really started about 5-6 years ago when our parents, they started playing as well. So it was a bit of a family thing. We were playing around with them. From there we started playing a couple local tournaments and, even branched further out to, further out states and stuff like that. So good transition from a little bit of tennis beforehand to pickleball.
And what's your background? I mean, how did pickleball interest you?
Well, like Josh said, we started with tennis. We did some drilling, so we learned the basics from that, and then we came into pickleball, and we just really loved it. We got hooked on it. We were able to play with our parents as well as our grandparents that are now almost 80, and it's just really great that we can all play together.
While Josh is helping Dad run the business more now, Rachel is still competing at a high level. Now you're involved with Team Engage, and obviously your dad's company, and you guys have been around pickleball for quite a while. How have you seen it change over the last couple years?
The skill alone the skill levels has really increased. There's also a lot more juniors coming in. We're still a little shorthanded with girls, but there's definitely a lot of juniors, a lot of talented young people coming into the sport. And I've just seen it expand, into schools and just overall.
Engage's success also comes from their 3-day camps where Rob and Jody teach as well as bringing top instructors like Steve Kennedy, Jennifer LaCour, and Jessie Irvin.
I work with Engage Pickleball, so I'm their lead clinician also. So it gives me the opportunity to travel 2 or 3 times a month, really go meet, 24, 30, 40 really special new people. They're all hungry for knowledge, and since I am the knowledge guru, I love to give it to them. There's a big difference in 3-0s and 5-0s. It's a skill level. I always like to be honest with people. Not everyone can be a 5-0, and it's not everyone's goal to be a 5-0. I like to make people just be the best they can. So when I get that 3-0 player, if I can get them to that 3-5 level, that means that I've done my job. If I can help the 5-0 player, maybe work on a couple little things just to tweak their games a little bit, and they come back and they go, wow, what a difference. That's where I get my joy from teaching side.
The most recent new Team Engage top male pro, Deckelbar, has been winning gold in singles and doubles. At the U.S. Open recently, Engage was a top seller of paddles and is unleashing several new innovations in the next few weeks. Rob, talk about these new paddles, because Engage, we see them everywhere, all the different colors, but you've got some exciting new things about the technology.
We do. This new paddle here, the Pursuit, it's all proprietary. We have our latest black core, which we invented. So it's the softest core in the market. And then this is a brand new graphite skin that we just came out with too, which is the softest skin, but also it's the roughest legal skin out there, and more importantly, more friction. So you combine both of those and you pretty much get the magic sauce.
What's the specifics guidelines that you have to be so people can play legally in these tournaments?
There's a lot of them, but the main one with the sizes is 24 inches. So you take the length plus the width, and it has to be 24 inches. But you can see with these two paddles, they're both legal shapes, but they're for different purposes. So this is 16 by 8, which is what most paddles are. Great all-around type paddle. This paddle, we were one of the first ones with a longer handle, and it's purely for engineering, to give that paddle more flex as you move back and start swinging harder. So still legal, by adding this together, you still get 24 inches or less. Just gives it whether you want more reach or a little bit more power.
I play with the Maverick, so it's a longer handle. I mean, for tennis players especially, the longer handle, the stiffer Maverick, it's a great crossover for any tennis player getting into pickleball.
We had the Poach Advantage, which for 3 years is one of the top 3 selling paddles in the world. So what happens is we decided to discontinue it to make room for new technology. So I discontinued it last October, and every day we're getting hate mail. Why? That's my favorite paddle. I went to try other paddles once you discontinue. I can't find anything like it. So it continued for 6 months. So I finally said, all right, if there's enough people that love it that much, what I'll do is I'll bring it back, but in a better version. So what I did was I took the Poach Advantage and improved it in 5 different ways, and then relaunched it as the Poach Infinity. And we already just mailing people that past Poach Advantage players. I thought maybe 10-20% would buy it. 33 to 40% at each mailing's buying it. So almost half the people that use Poach Advantage 6 months later are buying this paddle now. Right. We have what I think is one of the best all-around paddles for it. It's just a $110 paddle. It's our Encore Pro line, and it's just the best all-around paddle. They can use it all the way up to a 5.0 level if they want. My sales guys all want to sell the $200 paddle, but if you're new, just get the paddle that you feel good with. So that's the one I always recommend when people are new.
And it's the type of game you play. If you're a younger player, older, if you like the bang versus dink. I mean,
based on that, but when you're new, you just need a great all-around paddle. Right. As you start developing, then you can pick a power paddle or a more control-based paddle. If you're a bigger person and you can generate your own power, then you want to go to a soft paddle because that will help your control because you don't need help putting the ball away. Right. So it does. When people come in that are intermediate or higher, we will ask them what type of player they are, and based on their size, their stature, their background, we'll fit them with the right paddle.
growing the sport, the business, and even adding wheelchair pros like Michael O'Leary to Team Engage proves it really is a pickleball family affair. Still to come, Christine Barksdale pioneers her game into a business.